Hello, beautiful listeners and viewers. I am Victoria Johnson. This is the Heal Your Life Talk radio show. Thank you so much for joining us. This is where we come to share transformational stories, to uplift each other, and to share tools and different strategies on just absolutely living our best life. And today's guest is sure to help you with that. Her name is Poliana Conti, and she is the founder of Partners for Growth. She's a certified Heal Your Life coach. She is a authorized partner of the 5 Behaviors program. She's an ICF member. She has 25 years experience in HR leadership. She has supported Fortune 500 companies in, wait for it, 44 plus countries, which is amazing. She helps both individuals and teams to connect with purpose, to recognize their strengths, to reach their full potential. And she is going to talk to us today a bit about those strategies and how they can really combine into our own personal growth work. And so welcome to the show, Poliana. We're happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I'm so glad to be here with you. I love your show.
Thank you so much. It's really our privilege to have you. I will put this in the show notes, but for those of you who want to pop on over and take a quick look, it is Poliana Conti, CONTI.com. And again, I'll put that in the show notes for you. So some of our theme today will be that human heart-centered leadership. And one of the questions that I have just straight out of the gate is, what inspired you to go from your typical HR position into a leadership position with heart, with really helping the leaders to get into that human-centered approach?
Very good question, Victoria. Thank you for that. I think that when I started to using the human-centered approach, I think since I started remembering who I am, because that's who I am. And coming into the human resources area and working in those global corporations, I always had the privilege to work with great leaders. And leaders that when I came with the heart and mind approach, they right away were able to resonate with me.
Mm-hmm.
So as I grew from coming from Brazil to the US in those global corporate environments as the global HR business partner and talent management, I could see that the difference of the best leaders is exactly the ones that have the right approach, because the people connect and they really can build trust with the team. They are okay to be vulnerable, right? And also they get the much more performance from the team and results than others that I didn't see that have that strength.
So when you say that these leaders that are most successful, they understand that it's okay to be vulnerable, I immediately got like this little stress ball in my stomach when you said that, thinking about vulnerability in the workplace. What does that look like that it doesn't create a situation where there's a shift in power? Like how would you describe the vulnerability of those leaders? Anything that you can share with us, any tips that would be helpful?
No, it's perfect because it's interesting when we have that thought process in terms of the change or shift in terms of power, and it's actually very powerful. When you say vulnerability, I know that we always trained to think about, hey, putting your emotions or all of that. I'm not necessarily talking about that. I think it's also simple messages that the leader, they come first in terms of vulnerability, in terms of, I don't know this answer. We are going to figure it out, right? Sometimes when we step into a role as a leader without the experience, we always have a tendency and a stress level too, that we need to know all the answers. We need to know it all. And then you can get into that situation where you end up centralizing, right, the efforts or micromanage, because you feel that, oh, if the CEO calls me and asks a question, I need to know about everything. So how do you manage up expectations, and also how do you treat with the team that are the experts, maybe you are not? So a true example, a mentor of mine just recently, 2 weeks ago, she's a head of finance in a strong position company, and she her challenge was that she didn't have a finance background, but because she's an engineer, but she has a lot of the entire team that has the financial background. So there are some areas that she gets, oh, okay, but right, this imposter syndrome also kicks in. Right, this is
Yes.
another topic. And she was wondering, I don't know if I am really able to do my job. And then during the conversation, we start to come back with the solution is, or with thought process, why do you think you were hired? What is the strength that you are bringing to the team? It's about your leadership, right? So she did have experience in finance before, but not in some at the level, right, of the doer at that time because of the position that she stepped
Yes.
in. So does it make sense? So it's okay to leverage the knowledge and use the diversity of the team, not only the diversity of thoughts and experiences, but also considering the strength that the team brings to the table.
Yes, and that's such a good point for a lot of the people who watch and listen to this show are coaches. And I find that's something that comes up with coaches as well. It's like, oh, how am I supposed to coach this person? They are the head of finance. They are a medical doctor. They are a counselor, a social worker, a lawyer. I don't know anything about the law, right? And so
Mhm.
I think that's such an important message for the coaches listening too, is that, we stay in our area of specialty. So that lady, for example, that you were sharing with, her area of genius is leadership.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so she was able to transfer those skills over.
Exactly. And that's exactly what the team needed at that time. But
Hmm.
coming to the coach, that's a great point, is as an internal coach, right? When I was in the business, I was coaching CEOs of corporations with the value of revenue of $4 billion. So I wasn't a CEO, wasn't a CFO, I wasn't a CHRO. But back to the partnership and what I call the partnership advantage. I am a partner. I'm not hire or not. I'm there just to help you get to the decision making that you need based on your expertise. So we talked a little bit about yesterday, right? About
Yeah.
that in another forum, right, Victoria?
It's so beautiful that you use the word partners. And when you were sharing with me off camera about the partnership, it really helped me to see it as a smooth transition. I've always seen myself as a coach, someone who, is supporting my client and helping my client and just being there equal to them, guiding along the way. But the word partner really sums it up so beautifully. I'm a partner in their success. And your company, Partners for Growth, you're trademarked Partners for Growth. The number 4, Partners for Growth, is built on 4 pillars. And can you share with us what those 4 pillars are and how we would use them professionally, personally?
Absolutely. So the 4 pillars, they have two folds. The first one is really the level of services that an approach in terms of the niche, how I help the organizations, which is the business growth with the
Mhm.
values, the company, organization culture, the leadership growth, which is through my coaching, leadership coaching, executive coaching, team growth, then I use all my, Patrick Lencioni's approach and the 5 behaviors, and then the individual growth, because those are the key components if you to run a business. On the other fold is the 4 G's of sustainability from my method partners, which is being grounded,
Mhm.
having grace, gratitude, and governance as a leader.
So when you're working with the leaders, so grounded, grace, governance, gratitude, how do you tie in your Louise Hay or Heal Your Life work into that?
That was where I found the magic. When I went through the training with you, Victoria, in Canada, I was questioning myself in terms of, okay, I have all this business side of me as a business coach, executive coach. How do I bring the Louise Hay elements to really be the puzzle, right, piece of the puzzle that I was missing? Then also through the leading with heart and mind that I did with the team, I helped me make the connection. So that's exactly where I bring when I talk about being grateful, being grounded is how do you use your affirmations? How do you put yourself into what is your essence as a leader and as a person and on your way to lead? How can you be an authentic self and authentic leader being in this framework? What is your why, right? If you give you an example, so I had several examples in terms of learnings as I grew in the company, but as a CEO that is under pressure, and then he takes the time to pause and say and talk to the people from manufacturing, we need to deliver this product, but I want you to make sure that we deliver with safety, we deliver with quality and on time, but safety first, because that's the culture that I want to convey, right? So just one simple example, that if the leader is not grounded, is just running on automatic, he's not going to pause to say that word.
Well, and when I hear you explain that, the visualization or the visual that came to my mind was the ripple effect. And so, you're working with that leader, making sure that leader is grounded, that leader who's then going to the people that he works with and making sure that they're in a position where they're feeling grounded. They're feeling like, okay, what I'm doing is safe, what I'm doing is productive, what I'm doing is making a difference, and really tapping into that, feeling valued. Essentially, the bottom line is helping them to love and appreciate themselves more in all areas of their life, including their work life.
And also that they make an impact in the culture, in the systemic situation with the company. So it's all about the collective and how are you coming in. When I say grounded, when we walk into a meeting, how are you coming to the meeting? Are you coming curious? Are you coming excited? Or you were coming into this meeting upset with the previous meeting or concerned about something that is going on in your life? So pausing and being grounded in all the senses, because maybe you are not really there entirely for that discussion. Makes sense to you?
It totally makes sense. And I think that those of us listening can really apply this in our own lives right now. So whether it's a personal situation where, maybe you're getting together with your sister and the last time you saw her, you were annoyed at something she was doing. And so you're bringing that forward with you, or in a meeting situation. And what I'm thinking of is a situation in my life right now where I'm meeting with someone that works for me. And I'm already irritated just telling you about this meeting. The fact that I even have to have this meeting is irritating to me. So I know that I know that energy is walking in before me. So in my situation, or the situation I made of two sisters getting together, and they've got that previous tension coming in. How do you ground yourself going into that? Because it sounds lovely, but how do we actually do it?
I think that we learned some of the techniques throughout our lives, but one thing that we even learned from Louise, right? Or even from several other mentors that we had, taking a deep breath. In the company, I used to have that exercise. We always had a safety message. A safety message can be not necessarily, hey, let's make sure that we check all our fire extinguishers, right, from the house from time to time. It can be also, how do you come into the room? So just bringing a different perspective, that safety message can also be, how are you coming mentally? Especially now that we are talking so much about wellness after the pandemic.
Yes.
That opened a lot of companies' mind. And so it's okay to come to the room and say, take a deep breath, right? And how are you coming to the room?
Since you brought that up, let's talk about that. How has corporate culture shifted? I know there was a time in the past where quite often in companies, these soft skills had no value, in their mind, right? They weren't something that the company was invested in or focused on. And I believe now that more and more and more and more companies are not seeing them as soft skills, but seeing them as essential, as taking care of their people and part of taking care of their company. Nothing is fluffy or woo-woo anymore. It's literally learning to take care of human beings to have a better corporate environment. How have you seen that shift? Because you're the one that's right there in the trenches dealing with this every day.
I'm still seeing the shift. There are companies that are ahead, but depending, as you know, I work globally. So depending on the country that I'm in, or also the maturity level of the businesses, we can see the differences. So there is a spectrum there. But the reality is, again, back to the vulnerability.
Yeah.
The leaders that they are the role models that I see are the leaders that are even pausing in a meeting saying, hey, you were not supposed to be here. You were on vacation, right? I appreciate that you are here because you are committed, but please note that it's okay if you were, it's your time with your family.
Mhm.
It's okay. So I have experienced that, right, from a CEO saying to his other C-level. So the everything forms the culture, Victoria. So I
Yes.
see all kinds of things, right? I see companies. So it's not doing therapy and being you, right? And I remember when I told the president of the company that I was working, hey, I'm going to do my Hero Life coaching in Canada with Victoria Johnson. I remember the rolling eyes. And I said, but I'm not going to come back with the incenses and help asking you to hold the tree, but I'm going to come back stronger because we are in the middle of pandemic and I feel that I need some additional skills. Even though I am psychologist, I want to go back to the essence and help you all and we all come back to our essence
Yes.
because we are
And
too
you
much
certainly
into the
did
automatic.
that very successfully.
And
Uh,
then we both laughed, right? But it was funny.
So often, when you were in Canada, we would have these little side conversations because it's like, okay, this is what I'm learning on a personal level. This is how I think I can apply this in the business level. And
Right.
so it was really helpful having those little side conversations for me to see how you were moving forward with the work as well. But let's talk about that personally. Can you share maybe a challenge or an obstacle or how you were introduced to the Heal Your Life work and how it did help you to heal your own life?
I think that it especially made me pause. I have been on an automatic for a long, long time,
Mm-hmm.
even though I recognize myself as someone that has always been grounded to my essence and what is really important to me.
Yeah.
But as you go and we take responsibilities for a global level, especially when we need to have changes and turnarounds, there are some many churns, income mergers and acquisitions, and you leading that acquisition globally, 20 countries or 12 countries that you don't have legal entity, or how do you do that from the HR perspective for the change in cultures? I felt that I was really too much into that automatic, Victoria. So going through the process of getting the hero life, I think that even helped me to get additional techniques or even reminding of myself, right? In
Mhm.
terms of, okay, we all need to pause, and I have not been pausing for a while.
Yes.
Even though I always use affirmations, my name is Poliana, right? So the thinking positively comes with me, with my name. But being in the business, I think the key impact was, yes, don't be yourself, don't be guilty, especially because I was considering making a move and transitioning out of the company, corporate America, to do things on my own. So that part of me was the timing in my life was critical to identify, okay, what is my identity now that I don't have the badge or I'm planning on no longer having badge,
Yes. Yeah.
right? So who am I? What is the new identity? How do I mix the business coaching, leadership coaching with a life coaching approach? And that's exactly the transformation that happened. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, absolutely. And I really applaud you for your openness and your willingness. You know, you have all of the credentials, being a psychologist, being an ICF certified coach, being a Heal Your Life coach, working corporately, globally,
Mhm.
all of these things. It would be so easy to say, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any more growth. I'm good. Right? And I
No,
hear
I'm going
this
to
all of the
retire. Okay,
time.
time to retire from corporate America. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the beaches in Brazil. No, not yet.
Well, and so often I'll hear from people, oh, I've already done all my personal growth work. Like I'm good, it's good. But the thing is, to that openness and willingness to continue to grow, it's the most favorite thing in my world. It really is that I can every day work on myself a little bit. And it's not working on myself to be better, right? It's just working on the love and acceptance and the little insights and the little lessons for today. This morning when I was journaling, a little lesson was revealed to me. That's what makes life so exciting. And then being able to carry it forward into my work, you being able to carry it forward into your work is so beautiful.
And especially if we think about career, which I counseled, I was taking care of careers for so many people in mine
Hmm.
throughout all these years. Everything, all the changes, everything that happened to us has a reason.
Yes,
Everything that happens to us are building our next,
yes.
right? Me, or let's our next identity, right?
Hmm.
So it's every single day. So if we are not open to listen and to see the signs and to listen to our hearts and
Hmm.
minds every day and watch, that's why I talk the governance as the four pillar of
Yes.
sustainability. It's not only governance in terms of the processes in the company, but the governance of yourself. It's
Hmm.
having governance and stop and assess if you are doing, you're back to the automatic or not.
Yes. Oh, such a good point. Such a good point. I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you if you have a favorite affirmation or quote.
Well, I always had one when I grew up, which was it's better to have to lose, it's better to always be content
Hmm.
because everything is happening for a reason and you are right. So which is the one that Louise always says, right? Everything is fine. Everything happens
For
for
my
my
highest
best
good.
good, right? All is well. Especially even when it's a chaos. There is a reason in this chaos for you
Yes.
to be there and everything is going to be okay. I know it's cliche, but
It's
if you
cliche for a
trust,
reason.
yeah, if it's you trust and you have the faith, it's just brings you to the state of mind as it's all right. Go with the
Yes.
flow that everything's going to be all right. And I
Yes.
believe it and it happens because then you
Yes, it's
change your
true.
vibration right away.
Yes. And we can trust life for that. And it's such a great reminder that we can always just bring ourselves back to that space.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Poliana, for being with us. Again, it's PolianaConti.com for the website and LinkedIn, and I'll put this in the show notes. She's there under her name as well, with loads of great information, whether you are an employer, corporate, personal, whatever it might be. Thank you so much for joining us. It was great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. So glad to be here.
Oh, thank
Appreciate the
you. And
invite.
thank you for all of the viewers and the listeners for sticking with us right to the end. If you like this podcast, please make sure that you hit like, subscribe, leave a review. We appreciate you being here, and we want to be part of helping you to create a life that you truly, truly love. Thanks again for joining us.